Well, let's give credit goes to Bev.
Yes.
Yeah,
She
no.
started this whole thing, and she's the reason that all of us are here today. So we'll see Bev.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll drink to anything.
Most of you know the story. Again, she told me this, and at one point your dad owned the stockyards, right? The feedlot? And then he sold it to some guy, right? Was it, no, do you know who the guy was at the end? So the feedlots at the end actually are a great story in Sun City. The manure pile was 50 feet, 40 feet tall.
44 feet.
44 feet tall. There were numerous lawsuits. It was down on the corner of 111th and Peoria, memory serves me, or in that general vicinity. And the feedlots, the stink was just wafting across into Sun City. And the lawsuits were just one after the other after the other. And it finally was going to go to the Supreme Court, and they settled it before going because they figured it would be more expensive. They paid him to move. I don't think that was your dad. Was your dad stubborn? Okay. So the beauty was that Bev understood Sun City. She watched it grow up, open up. When the Ramblers closed shop in '65, you reached out to some people locally, I think Bert Burke and a couple of others, and said, are you interested? And of course, I told the story over there. I ought to say there was this huge survey in the local paper, and Ben said, yeah, it wasn't so huge. The vote was 29-7 or something. But clearly people wanted it. And once the team was here, they built the first stadium on 108th and Grand, cost $11,000. But they filled it. Pretty bare bones.
The merchants gave us $10,000
Did they?
to start. To build the ballpark and do everything. And Lloyd Blanken was the groundskeeper.
Yeah, we were sitting there trying to remember his name, and nobody could. So. You're still sharp as a tack, aren't you?
And his wife.
Really?
No, they kept that ballpark so clean.
And what was the doctor's name that traveled?
Dr. Everson. No,
Sour.
that's a piano player.
Tommy
Dr.
Carson.
Everson was a
And his, and his wife, Pat.
John Tack, Johnny Carson.
They're in some of the books over there, but I can never remember them.
If you want to know anything, Bev doesn't know, my sister Kathy does.
Yeah.
Business manager, and she had to know all this stuff, so anyway.
Well, that's where it's so valuable, just to have the history and people that know it. So Paul is actually recording this so that we have it. Karen and I started chatting. I don't know if you know Karen very well. I didn't know her at all. And we talked.
We don't
I don't know if I called her or you called me.
She's a stranger.
But I know I couldn't get her off the phone. She just wanted to keep talking.
We all know that.
I know. They told me it wasn't. I thought I was special. They said, "No, she does that."
But Karen and Joanne are very important for keeping softball alive in Arizona.
You know, I get it.
Starting the Hall of Fame down there, everything.
When I say to you that somebody stayed on the line with me, people hate me because I write too much and speak too much, and they tell me that all the time. So when Karen and I started talking, it was like I had found a lost soul. I was going to write her a long email, and then I said,
Known him all my life.
At any rate, I am just so delighted that you guys could come. The rest of the day, has anybody got to leave? Or can you? We have the back room set up over at the museum. We're going to open and just have an open house from 11 to 1. I know from watching the Facebook page, the Hall of Fame Facebook page, a number of the people on there said they wanted to come by. You know, whether they will or not depends on whether they will or not.
I'll finish your sentence.
My wife doesn't even do that.
Bill,
Yes, sir.
three things, if I may. One is that when the community was asked about whether the Saints would be a welcome addition to Sun City, there were a few people who were very, very wary. They were afraid that you were going to attract riffraff into the community.
Literally, that was the name in the, what they called it in the newspaper.
It was a riffraff. The second, for those of us who spend a lot of time over at the museum, one of our favorite parts of the tour for our citizens is at the Saints. We probably spend as much time at that one little area explaining you ladies to them, and they are so interested. And that's why you are so important to our history. And the third, can we talk a little bit about the scrapbooks and about how they're going to be available online? There are people like Paul.
Paul and Lynn are,
They are online now.
they are,
Yeah.
How do they
so
get?
all of these scrapbooks are online, and you can access them. If you leave us your email address, we'll send you the link for them.
Everybody's email.
But you can also find it on our website, how to link to it, and you can go through them at your leisure at home and go by and have some fun. And we hope you do. I mean, one of the main reasons we put them up there.
They're actually, they're going to be posted on the Arizona Memory Project, I think.
Yes, it'll be out to the whole state.
And anybody accessing, so if they do a search for the Sun City Saints, they'll probably find them at some point. You know, algorithms drive everything these days on websites, so it'll take a little bit, but as the interest level increases, it'll just keep getting better and better. Anyway, we're going to go over there from 11 to 1. Opened it up. Just want people from the community or friends of yours that used to play against you. I know Bev told me that this Friday, today, the first Friday in November was when you used to all get together. And so, my wife, you don't have to finish, Becky's finishing my sentences, so you don't have to. Yeah, you don't want to hear how she finishes.
I just want to say this is a very special day for the museum to have all of you here. Thank you very much for coming. And again, thank you to the Nixons for providing the food and the setting here today. And especially thank you to Bill, to Ben, and to Paul. They were the three members of the committee that put this whole thing together. So thank you very much.
Okay. We did not play, but I was very fortunate to be on Down Keith's coaching staff, and all of these ladies were there, and I learned a tremendous amount of the game. But I just accidentally walked away with my jacket and never turned it back in. And but anytime one of the players are put into the Arizona Art Hall of Fame, I can take it down there. If they don't have that, we put on a mannequin for them or whatever. But I wore it for 2 reasons. Most of these ladies here started the ASU program and won the first national winner. So I've also won the ASU program. These ladies were the first, but if you listen to their first going to the first national tournament, what they went through to get there and where they stayed and whatever, you would not believe the accommodation that those ladies had in going to that first national that they won, and who we wound up playing in. One of them was a foreign country, and one of them, and the second one was actually a U.S. team.
Anybody else want to say? We really put the program together. The first 2 hours was yours. Somebody's got to say something. I always am a big fan of making sure the Nixons are aware of. Everybody knows what they do. Anybody? Paul, you want to tell us about the 54 innings you caught one night? Because that's the one story that's posted over there that you pitched. I suspect you caught all
56 innings, 2 days. 54, 56. I don't know how many, but it all blended. I think the paperwork says 54. Yeah.
It is 54. It's the one story that we post over there, and people go, are you kidding me?
But here's my question is, we were trying to figure out the year on that. Because I think we read that article and we're not sure what year that was.
We have to check in the scrapbook.
So I guess the scrapbook will.
Yeah, it's in one of, because I was going through this and stealing pictures to post online, most of Maryland. I actually read the story the day after.
Well, we played till like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
The homeowner said, you know, there's no hot water, because obviously they were cold too. So they finally took us again, after the games, to the shower, and I think we had 2 station wagons, or a van. And Mary B. Porter, one of her friends, was also a car dealership. Loaned us the cars to do that. So we had transportation, and every time we ate out together.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
And then the next year we got to stay in a hotel.
Yeah, the next year was the hotel. We had more money.
One of the colleges you actually played against the U.S. team for the championship, but then the Japanese
The Japanese came over.
and they played in the national team for the U.S. with the Japanese team.
We played Japan for the championship. They didn't scare us when they were going infield and they dove, every one of them. We're like, they hit the ball and they just dive on the ground. We're like, that was a little intimidating.
They won it all.
Oh, yes.
That is fun.
They
They walk up to the
bow
pitcher.
the umpires all the time.
Yeah, wow.
And they come to the plate.
I have a question about, one of the things we saw over and over in the scrapbooks was about your fundraiser, about selling kisses.
Oh.
We
That
did.
All right,
actually,
yeah.
that worked?
Yeah. Who here will admit they sold kisses for $1?
Yeah.
Better than macrame.
Yeah, we made macrame pots going and we sold those.
Set up a stand right
Yeah, we always got stuck on that wonderful thing. That, that was something that was really, as I look at this, we as players had the most amazing support from our families, our sisters, our brothers. They both helped out. I mean, they'd say, what do you want us to do? And they would do it. I mean, we really had good support from family and everybody.
But the crowd was fantastic. Sun City really supported us active, especially when a certain local team across town would come in and play, and the game would be like Friday or Saturday or Sunday, whatever they would stay.
West.
Yeah. But anyway, the fans were fantastic. Very nice and whatever. The only thing that really, at first when I first started going and seeing them when I was younger, not much younger, but the train would always come through. And everybody knew about Popeye because got to where it was getting about the same time each night. But it was a signal when it came through. Several of the crowd left. They were at home and got in their parts and went home on that. But most of the teams, the audience stayed to the very even when it was a long game. Maybe it was a 1-1 all the way. You're in the 10th inning, 11th inning, the 12th inning, or whatever. The fans stayed. They were fantastic.
They had 54 innings.
That was till 2 or 3 in the morning.
The sign says that it did go till 2:30 or 3, but they said there was still 200 or 250 people in the stadium. If you know Sun City, you know by 10 o'clock, there's nobody out. I'm being generous.
That's when the train quickened. But they did though, they came, and a lot of them stayed in the cold even with later, the one that really just wanted, especially with a tight game against somebody, they just didn't want to go. But they came up early, in the stands, and they were tremendous supporters.
Well, you mentioned the golf cars. One of my favorite pictures of that stadium
They lined up,
is
yeah.
the golf cars lined up, and you could sit in your golf car. I guess you could bring your own beer, right? Do they sell beer at the stadium?
No, they don't.
Never.
But they had the best hot dogs at 30 cents. I've had people say, God, I can't remember. I said, did you come to see us play or eat the hot dogs?
Yeah.
And those hot dogs were really good. I'm like,
And now they're $2.50. Any golf.
oh, are they?
Snack bar. $2. They reserved them well.
So just so you know how this all started, and some of you may know the story, Rosie's daughter, Helen, her dad, Rosie's husband, stopped by the museum one day, and he had a picture of Rosie, a newspaper clipping, and we had never met him, and I happened to walk in. Our one employee, Linda, does a great job, is spectacular, really, really. just does everything. I don't know if she called me or if I just happened to come in that day, and he was there, and we started talking, and I knew all of this stuff was there. I'd gone through it a ton of times, and we started talking about, the gathering. I know they called you. You may be here. Do any of you remember? What's his name?
Mr. Andrew?
I can't remember.
Porfino or something like
Yes,
that.
I think it was that.
Something like that. Anyway, he may come at 11. We called him and invited him. We had hoped that Helen's back in Minnesota.
Yeah.
We had hoped that he would drop down. She would fly down, but that didn't work out. We also had hoped, one of my favorite clippings, and of course this is after most of you had left, other than Marilyn.
Get out of
What's still there was when Debbie Doom had come to pitch. And I love the old clippings because they used to call it Doomsday. She might have had the perfect name to be a pitcher. She's somewhere, did you tell me, Indiana or Illinois? Somewhere back. Yeah, somewhere back. The last I heard when I was president, she actually still had a fast softball clinic